See, loving yourself is forgiveness for your experiences that you go through. Loving yourself is not emotionally holding on to your traumas. Loving yourself is giving yourself grace. Loving yourself is knowing that it's okay to fail. Loving yourself and knowing that it's okay to speak positivity over your life. See, before I get on any platform and I speak, I get on here and I say, I'm the best motivational, inspirational speaker that the world hasn't heard yet.
Today's guest is Carlos King Jaquell Martin. That is how it's pronounced, correct? Jaquell?
Yeah, it's just King Jaquell Martin.
Okay. Now, he was a sergeant in the U.S. Army, and then he came home and had a violent experience with officers in his own country, and that led him to author a book, which he later turned into a movie, which became a awarded movie, and so on and so forth. So, Mr. Martin, welcome to Conversations with Sharika. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to have you here with me today. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, from childhood to say the point where you wrote the book.
Well, my name is King Jaquell Martin. The book that she's referring to is this book right here. It's entitled A War on Friendly Grounds. Actually, my good friend Therese, she's here. She is a reporter from the Pentagon, and she actually did an interview about my situation. But a little bit about me. As a child, I loved sports. I was always active. I was always busy. I'm an Army brat. My mother joined the United States military. She was in the Army. We traveled. We moved around a lot. I think the beautiful thing about moving around is you understand how to fit in different environments because you were subjected to different environments.
Right.
It allows you to look at the world from different perspectives because you weren't just in one situation all the time. So I have an interesting way to see the world, but I think that's because I was always moving, and it forced me to look at the world differently. I've always been the captain of my team, leader. I grew up in a single parent home. I have an older brother and an older sister. Shout out to them who are doing amazing things. On this journey, I wind up deciding to join the United States Army, serve my country for 10 years. In the midst of serving my country, I was wrongfully assaulted by the police in my military uniform. And going through that journey, it put me in a dark place. I went to this thing called CEO Space, where I met this young lady named Goddess Sahadi. You never know who God is going to use to speak into your life to let you see life differently, that will inspire you to do something that you've never done before.
Right.
Before I go into the story about me wrongfully getting assaulted by the police, I just want to fast forward some things. Since then, I moved to LA. I wrote a book. I became an actor. I was in HBO Ballers with The Rock. I turned my book into an award-winning short that's been selected in 28 film festivals around the world. I got my degree from the New York Film Academy for filmmaking. I am right now currently competing in the Toastmasters International Speaking Competition, where I will become and be recognized as the best speaker in the world that they haven't heard yet, but they're about to. And I'm just going to be doing a little bit of soul whispering. So for everyone tuning in, I pray that you got a little bit of pen and pad, because you might not remember everything that I say, but I promise you, whatever nuggets that you do pick up, put on your seatbelt, because it's about to be a crazy one, and I'm about to whisper to your soul. I can't hear you, gorgeous.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a soul whisperer with us today, so make sure you're quiet and you can hear what he has to say. You've been on an incredible journey, and I just happened to pop in a clubhouse room one morning and was listening, and I heard you speak, and I was like, I have to get him on my show because my show is all about showing people that obstacles, they can be overcome, and it doesn't matter where you're coming from. You can actually rise above your situation and create the life that you want to create for yourself and be an inspiration to people. So once more, I just want to say thank you for saying yes and for being here with me today and with the rest of us as well. So your book, A War on Friendly Ground. I'm also gonna talk a little bit about another movie you were in, or you directed, The Evolution of Slavery.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get back to that for a minute. But your book, I wanna make this a little bit more about thinking more than about the other aspect of it. So I'm gonna ask you this question. There's a quote from your book. It says, "One reason it took so long to write A War on Friendly Ground is because of fear and PTSD. Honestly, I was hurt, depressed, and had anxiety. I didn't believe people wanted to hear what I had to say." Right? And you're saying it took you how long to write the book?
To actually write the book, it only took me like 2 weeks. Because I wrote the book without writing the book, which we'll get into. How do you write a book without actually writing the page? And I'll explain that to you guys and drop a bit of how you can write a book without writing a book using technology. The point of it was after I was wrongfully assaulted in my military uniform, after I watched my wife, or ex-wife should I say, be assaulted in front of me, and I couldn't do anything to protect her, where I went from wrongfully facing 10 years in jail. That same officer is the same officer who assaulted the young lady at Spring Valley High School, the one that was sitting in the desk when you slammed her in her head and threw her across the classroom. That would be the same young gentleman that we're talking about.
Right.
I want to shout out my big bro, Mr. Motivational Forever, Kyle. He's doing amazing things in his community. Y'all make sure y'all like his page. Y'all follow him. That brother is powerful. I just want to salute the king that's out there. As he came is alive, just thank you for the support. And anyone else and all my friends who are here supporting at the same time, I want to show and give you guys roses because you don't have to do what you're doing right now. I'm grateful. So when I was wrongfully assaulted, I reached out to the NAACP in South Carolina. They said, "How much money are you donating to us?" And it was heartbreaking to hear that. Because as a kid, when you read about the NAACP, you hear about how they're standing up for us and, you know, how they will come to help you in the time of need. Well, I'm not talking about the main branch, but I'm talking about the extension. Because when you have a tree has its roots, right? And then you have the branches to the tree. Well, I'm talking about an extension of the NAACP. The South Carolina branch was rotten, because they were more worried about money than they were worried about actually how could they help me. And then I went to the Rainbow Push. I went to the Jesse Jackson organization. I went to the ACLU. I reached out to state senators, and I couldn't get any help. So in the midst of not being able to get helped, there was a perception of no one wanted to hear what I had to say. In America, there's this myth. And the myth is you're innocent until proven guilty. But for people who look like me, I'm guilty until I prove my innocence. So in the midst of me wanting to prove my innocence, the people that I reached out for help didn't want to help me. The military turned their back on me. I was a medical soldier. So during my medical evaluation to be put out the military, the same people that were evaluating me were the same people that I was working with who treated me as if I was guilty. So how could I receive a fair medical evaluation if I'm writing congressionals to protect myself from the onslaught of attacks where I was accused of being guilty? So it took me 4 years to get to court. And when we finally got to court, we were found not guilty on all charges. Well, what were the charges? Disturbance of the peace, noise violation, and assault on officer while resisting arrest. Sometimes police officers like to throw spaghetti on the wall. And what that means is they'll throw a lot of charges on you and hope that to you. so they can convict you. Well, I thank God that, we were found not guilty on all charges because we didn't do anything. And as a soldier and as a husband, it's one thing to put your life on the line for your country, but it's another thing to question the flag. So my question was to the flag, is the flag a lie? Because they say the flag represents freedom, liberty, and justice. But the crazy thing about it is, from my perspective, my culture ain't never been free. We've never had liberty.
Right.
And we're not getting justice. So is the flag a lie if the flag claims that we're supposed to have freedom, liberty, and justice for all? Remember, all lives matter? How you guys? For all lives. But I don't think all lives get that or receive it.
Yeah, and based on what you said and the number of people that you reached out to, it's not just the problem doesn't just exist with the police. It exists in different organizations, because the fact that no one wanted to help you means no one thought that you had a valid issue.
I mean, for me, the problem exists in America, in the structure of America.
Yeah.
Because we have to look at contracts, right? And the person that writes a contract is the person that's in power. So when America was overtaken, do your research, when America was overtaken and they created the Constitution, there was no such thing as all lives mattering during that time frame. Proof of it is, in the Constitution, people who were looking like me were considered 3/5. We were considered someone else's property. So there was no inclusion. So what I mean by this is, can I come to your home and tell you what to do? No, because it's your house.
Yeah.
But if I say, hey, can I use your bathroom? You might say, sure, King. Can I get something to eat? You might say, sure, King. That is an amendment. See, we are an amendment, which means we are an exception, because we're not in the original structure of how they created the United States or the plan. We were not included as a whole person. And we're still looked at this way right now. We are still begging to be included in a constitution that was never constructed for us. And so right now we still fight to say Black Lives Matter. Well, we shouldn't even have to say that, right? But the deflection to move the narrative is to say all lives matter. Cool, got you. So all lives matter. I have a question for you, because I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know how all lives can matter if Black lives don't matter. If all lives matter, that's cool. Why is it during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you never hear autism say, me too? How come you don't hear autism protesting during Breast Cancer Awareness Month? I'll wait.
Yeah.
The reason why is because you can talk about one without being disrespectful to the other. So when we said Black Lives Matter, how was that disrespectful to anyone else?
Shouldn't be.
Okay, so let's go a little deeper with that plot, since we're going to go here, right? I believe that they should have created the Stop Asian Hate Crime Bill. And I believe that's beautiful. My question to you is, when the Stop Asian Hate Crime Bill came out, where was All Lives Matter? I might not be that smart, but why is it okay to say Stop Asian Hate and they get a crime bill and all lives don't matter? Protest that. Shouldn't it be an all lives matter hate crime bill?
Should we stop hate, period, not just Asian hate? But I'm curious though. How did you, on a mental level, how did you navigate through that process to come out in a place where you are not hating, you're not bitter, you're no longer depressed? How did you navigate that?
I would be lying to tell you I'm not. That would be a lie. I am angry. I do have my emotions. I do have rage. I do have feelings of frustration because I'm tired of seeing the same thing. Even in my movie, I said, America, aren't you tired of seeing this? I'll
Yeah.
put my life on the line for my country to defend her. But who's going to defend me when I come back home? So America, aren't you tired of seeing this? I'll put my life on the line for a country that doesn't love me back because of the color of my skin. My question to you, America, is the flag a lie? I just need to know. Because America seems, or the famous quote is, America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
It really only seems like certain people get to wake up free. And if you have my skin tone or my skin color, you got to wake up brave every single day. We living in two different Americas.
Yeah.
All lives matter. Don't believe me? Okay, look at the 13th Amendment. Don't believe me? Why is it that two people in the same state can do the same crime and one person get counseling and the other get a maximum sentence? All lives matter. Why is it that the president on national television can talk about how when people stormed the Capitol building, if another group of people did the same thing, the results would be different? Why? If all lives matter, why can one group do something and another group couldn't do the same thing if all lives matter? Why is it Jane Elliott spoke on a show who is a white woman and she said, hey, raise your hand if you're racist, and she's in a room full of white people and no one raised their hand, which is cool. And then she came back and she said, hey, if you want to be treated like a black person, raise your hand.
Nobody raised their hand.
And nobody raised their hand. She says, why are you not raising your hand? Because you know there's a difference. You know that there's a difference in how you're treated and how they're being treated. And you would not want to be treated how they're being treated. But then you pretend as if it's not real.
Yeah.
We act as if white tears aren't real. We act as if there's not, it doesn't have to be. It's something that we choose. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
See, it gave me this quote, right? And this quote is, what makes a rainbow beautiful? Is it not the diversity of colors? Well, if that's true, is mankind's kryptonite trying to make one color better than the next? And if that does happen, if one color dominates a rainbow, is it still a rainbow? I think not. So why are we destroying something beautiful that God created with invisible lines of hate? We are all 6 degrees of separation from loving each other. The question is, will we?
Yeah. Do you think that what you've done or what you're doing with your work, do you think that it's helping any at all? Do you think that it will help? Do you think that, what are you hoping to accomplish?
Mom, I'm not even hoping. I'm accomplishing being the antivirus to the system of oppression. Well, how do you be the antivirus to the system of oppression? With unity stitched up in love. Because unity and love is the antivirus to the system of oppression, because love conquers all if we choose to love. So before I can love anybody else, this goes back to your other question, I had to go look in the mirror. I had to learn the power of forgiveness. So when I was on the news and I was in front of Jake Tapper and Chris Como, they said, hey, if you saw the officer again, what would you say? I forgive him. The forgiveness had nothing to do with the officer.
No, it doesn't.
It had everything to do with me and my experience. But see, when you don't understand forgiveness and you look at forgiveness as a weakness, you'll do exactly what they did in the comments section. I got called out my name. I got called everything but the Son of God. You got the right to be mad. You got da-da-da this and da-da-da-da-da-da. You're right. I do. But what am I going to do with all that anger? See, because when you don't have control over your emotions, you become emotional. And when you are emotional, you'll do emotional, irrational, stupid things. And what I realized in my transformation is that a book and a movie would outlast a bullet. What type of impact do I want to make? I remember my mama said, you could be a part of the problem or you could be a part of the solution. So I chose my path of being part of the solution. And even bigger than that, I'm not the first person to go through it. And I'm not the last.
Unfortunately.
And what you need to understand is, I am my ancestors' dream. Somebody dreamed about the life I have today. When they was picking cotton, getting beat, being hung, tortured. I am the answer to my ancestors' prayers. Somebody prayed about me. Somebody covered me a long time ago. So the comforts that I have come from the sacrifices of the people who were here before me. Why would I not honor that? And not only honor that, what sacrifices am I willing to make for the future? Or have I become so comfortable in my comfort that I forgot that the comforter that I sleep in has my ancestors' blood stains all over it? Because sometimes we get so comfortable that we don't do anything. And that is the difference between living and existing. And I choose to live. I choose to stand for something rather than die for nothing. So you got to understand that I just didn't get here. When I gave out my phone number on national television, I received death threats. I was told I was going to be killed if I keep talking the way I'm talking. I had people fake like they were the little girl. Hey, it's me, send me a sexual picture, to try to make me a pedophile. I had people say, hey, we'll riot in your name. They tried to make me a terrorist in my own country. Just give us your permission. Tell us you want us to tear up the city, whatever you want us to do. Last but not least, I had people thank me and say, hey man, I'm proud of you. I know it's scary what you're doing. I appreciate you just standing up the way you're standing up. It ain't nothing special about me. I'm just a vessel that God is using, because why isn't my name on the list? What list are you talking about? I'll tell you right now. May they rest in power and love. I could be about Emmett Till, Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Philando Castile. The names go on and on and on and on and on and on. God, why didn't you add my name to that list? What was so special about me that you spared me? Because I was in the same situations as my brothers and sisters, and you kept me. Because I have a responsibility to speak for those who are no longer here to speak for themselves. It is my job to represent for the voiceless. And I understand my purpose and I understand my reason why. So why wouldn't I be present to everything that I'm supposed to do? Why would I not honor my culture? Why would I not honor my people? Why would I not create the change that I want for my seeds that are coming after me? What is your purpose in being here? Because you're here still on purpose. What is your purpose of listening right now? See, your purpose was to build a platform where you could set up a conversation for somebody like me. When you decided to do what you're doing, you never knew that you was going to run into somebody like me. But because you was obedient to your purpose, look what you did. You created a lighthouse for someone like me to come shed light to all the ones that are lost at sea. And now I can speak to their soul. I can whisper to their soul where it might resonate, because you never know who's one step away from the cliff. You never know who's like, man, I just can't. Yes, you can. If you choose to. But you got to start with loving yourself. Because if I don't love me, how can I love my wife? If I can't love my wife, how can I love my children? And if my children don't know what love is, then my family don't know what love is. If my family don't know what love is, how is the community going to know what love is? If the community don't know what love is, how is the culture going to know what love is? And if we don't start finding love with ourselves, we ain't going to change nothing. We have been in this hamster wheel way too long. Napoleon Hill calls it hypnotic rhythm, to do the same thing over and over again and expect change is insanity. But how long will we be crazy? You have to do something new in order to get something new. The question is, will you get up and do it? Will you fulfill who you are always called to be, or will you be stuck in your distractions? What is distracting you from walking in your purpose and your gift?
I have a question for you. Thank you once more for coming here, because you're speaking golden stuff and everything that I also to speak about a lot of times. For someone who this is new to, what exactly is loving yourself?
You remember, if you do business, what a SWOT report is? See, in business, you have a SWOT report. And a SWOT report is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. See, in order for you to fully love yourself, you got to know what your strengths are. You got to know what your weaknesses are. And you got to be willing to look in the mirror and talk to yourself, because it will create new opportunities. So you're prepared for the threat to get a return on investment on your life. See, loving yourself is forgiveness for your experiences that you go through. Loving yourself is not emotionally holding on to your traumas. Loving yourself is giving yourself grace. Loving yourself is knowing that it's okay to fail. Loving yourself and knowing that it's okay to speak positivity over your life. See, before I get on any platform and I speak, I get on here and I say, I'm the best motivational, inspirational speaker that the world hasn't heard yet, but they about to. Well, how can you say that you're the best? Who do you think you are? Let me tell you who I think I am. If there's life in the power of the tongue, if there's life and death in the power of the tongue, then why wouldn't I speak life over myself? See, I'm not in competition with no one. What I'm doing is I'm being better than I was yesterday. And can't nobody be the best version of me than me, because you know what, baby? Whether you like it or not, I'm an original. There's only one of me. No one has my DNA. No one has my fingerprints. Can't nobody be me better than me. So if I'm going to be me, why not be the best version of me? See, some of y'all choose to die a copy when you was born original. You gotta love the fact that there ain't nobody here on this planet like you. You are number one.
Yeah.
Of the movie like The Matrix. If y'all ever seen The Matrix, they had this character. He was the protagonist. His name was Neo. And Neo had a dead-end job. He really wasn't happy. He was going through his storm. But see, in the midst of him not knowing who he was, Morpheus, he was like, I see potential in you. And I think you could be the one. I'm going to give you a choice. Hint, hint, pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm going to give you a choice, because in life you have choices. The red pill or the blue pill. Which one are you deciding to take over your life? Are you going to take the blessing, or do you want to speak the curse based off of what someone else told you? So he didn't believe that he was the one. And they put him through different tests to see if he was the one, and he failed all the tests. But then eventually there was a part in the movie where Neo was confronted by the agent, the antagonist, and he said, you know what, let me give this thing a try. And because he decided to do something different, he decided to start to believe, all of a sudden he started moving differently. All of a sudden things started happening in his world differently. See, baby, what you didn't understand the whole time that I was talking to you, let me get a little closer so y'all can hear me. You have to realize this. Neo was always the one. Even when he was at his dead-end job, even when things wasn't going right in his life, even when he was dealing with problems, even when he was dealing with frustration, stress, things that he didn't believe, trolls, haters, everything, every essence of what he was, the day he was born, he was the one. The only difference in the movie that happened was He believed it.
He finally believed it.
So my question to you is, when are you going to start believing that you're the one? Because if there's nobody else like you since the day you was born, that means you are already the one, baby. The day that you got here, you had every single thing put inside of you. You already had everything put inside of you. See, you came to this world pre-programmed. You were pre-programmed. Well, King, what do you mean I was pre-programmed? Okay, when you was a baby and you was a child, did your mama teach you how to breathe? Did she teach you how to move? Did she teach you how to cry? Did she teach you how to grow? See, you are already pre-programmed with things from your creator, no matter what you want to call them. Higher power, higher frequency. I just call them God for me. I can't speak for you, but I got to speak for me. When he created me, he gave me all the tools that I need. I can even heal myself. If I cut myself, my body already knows how to heal. Do you understand the powers that you have? Do you even understand how great you really are? Your essence, your presence, your everything since the day that you was born? Y'all got cell phones? Watch this. Who created a cell phone, gorgeous? I'm just asking you an easy question. Who created cell phones? Do you know?
People, man.
People. So man created cell phones, right? So on your cell phone, we got batteries, right? And if your battery get too low and your battery run out, what happened to your phone?
It dies.
Okay. So if your phone dies, or you don't want your phone to die, what do you have to do?
You gotta charge it.
You gotta do what?
You gotta charge it.
How do you charge it?
You plug it in.
You plug it into what?
Into the source.
You just told me if the phone is about to die, you got to plug it in and you got to plug it back into the source. Well, my question is, who is your source? Who is your source? Who are you plugging back into when you think you're about to die? When you think you ain't got no more energy? When you think you just can't do what you're supposed to do no more? What are you plugging back into? Who is your source? Okay, so let's continue on with the cell phone. Let's have a little bit of fun, y'all. We're gonna have a little bit of fun today. If you got too many apps, if you got too many pictures on your cell phone, can you download any more information?
No.
So you telling me that if you got too many apps, too many pictures, your phone won't let you download something new? Interesting. Hold that thought then. Hey, how long have you been holding on to them old stories? How long have you been holding on to friends that don't serve you? How long you been playing victim? See, you want new blessings, but you want to hold on to old problems. But you just told me that, hey, on my cell phone, I can't download nothing new if I'm holding on to old stories and old memory. So when was the last time you cleared your own cache? When was the last time you did some spring cleaning in your mind, body, and soul? When was the last time you started cleaning things out that don't serve you no more? When was the last thing you said, hey, everybody can't go where you're supposed to go? When was the last time you stopped letting people play the telephone game with your vision and your dream? See, everybody ain't supposed to see it because it's your vision. So why are you mad at somebody for being blind? You mad at somebody being blind? Well, they don't support me because they don't see it. They ain't supposed to see it. But guess what? You can see the results. If you build it, they will come. Stop being mad at people for not seeing what they ain't supposed to see.
Oh, yeah.
Stop being mad at the hater and the troll because they playing their role in life. See, you're supposed to have haters. You're supposed to have trolls because those are tests to make it seem how bad you want what you say you want. See,
so true.
Show y'all something real quick. This right here is an aquarium. Can y'all see the aquarium? With no fish.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all know what an aquarium is because I just showed you what an aquarium looked like. They did a scientific test about this. So in the aquarium, they put a piranha inside the aquarium, y'all, right? And when they put the piranha in the aquarium, y'all remember the movie Nemo? They put Nemo inside the aquarium with him at the same time. So when the piranha saw Nemo, guess what he did? He ate him over and over and over again. So they came back. And then they put a glass cylinder in between the piranha and Nemo. Have y'all ever heard of this glass cylinder thing where you feel like you can't go no further in life because you keep hitting your head on a glass cylinder? So when the piranha saw Nemo, guess what he did? He said, and eventually he got tired of hitting his head. So he stopped doing it. So guess what happened to the piranha? He died. See, y'all thinking I'm talking about a piranha, but y'all don't even see the parallel how I'm talking about you. See, the glass cylinder is the haters. The glass cylinder is the trolls. The glass cylinder is the people who can't see your dream, that don't speak your dream. So guess what? You stop going after your dream, and then you wonder why you're dying on the inside. But the thing about it is the glass cylinder, baby, is not meant to keep you out. It's meant to see how bad you want in. How bad do you really want your dreams? What are you willing to sacrifice to get up to go get it? What are you going to do differently in your life to make your dream a reality? Because you can see the dream on the other side of the glass, but you're not willing to break through it to get it.
Yeah. I keep laughing because everything, some of the things that you talk about are things that I've done in YouTube videos, and it's just, everything is just resonating with the things, a lot of the things that I believe and a lot of things that I say as well. So amazing stuff, people, and everything that he says. It's true. We're not just here. We have purpose, we have missions, we have visions, and we're not, every single one of us has something that we're supposed to pass on to the world. Not one single person is here without a purpose. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you think you have and do not have, you have a purpose. And he just said it. And he's not lying, because he would have been there. I know I wish we had like 2 hours to go to talk, but I want to ask you a question about the other movie you did, The Evolution of Slavery. Now, this guy here is an award-winning director, and one of his movies was awarded also at a film festival and so on. There's so much that we could go through here. But what inspired you to write, to create the movie An Evolution of Slavery?
So that was my winning film, A Warm Feeling Grounds. But Evolution of Slavery was the first film that I ever made.
Right.
And the reason why I created it, because people think they're free. And you're not. You know what's better than a slave in chains? An invisible chain connected to your mind.
Yeah, there's no reason change.
So what do you mean by that, King? What I mean by that is a business and a plantation is the same thing. What? Well, on a plantation, you got a slave. And then you got a slave driver. And then you got massa. Well, ain't that the same structure as a business? A worker bee, a manager, a CEO. The names is just changed and it just look a little bit differently. My question is, what plantation are you working on? Is it McDonald's or Google? And there's nothing wrong with being on the plantation as long as you know you're on the plantation. But my question is, if you can go put in 8 hours for someone else's dream, how much time are you putting in on your dream? If you can follow everybody else's rules and you can do everything, you know what's crazy? You know the job better than the person who created the job.
Yeah.
So I created Evolution of Slavery, where these slaves start out in slavery, and then they evolve, they get caught by the slave masters or whatever else. And Harriet Tubman said, I freed 1,000 slaves, but I could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. In the next evolution of it, I keep all the characters the same, both slave master and wife, and both a slave husband and wife. And then they become business partners. And then they celebrate them being business partners. And then it evolves to the new world where they become police officers. And then they become just regular citizens, and the police officers take their life. Because it seems like that's how we've evolved here in America. We went from slaves to business partners to still dying in the street no matter how successful we are. Even LeBron James, as successful as he is, when he moved to California, they spray painted the N-word all over his place. So it's not about how much money you make, it's about people's mindset and how we have to start healing mindsets in order to create the change. But we just can't point fingers. We got to be accountable for ourselves and our mindsets just as well. So
starts with the man in the mirror. That is so true. And I guess the work that you're doing is to help people realize how much mentally enslaved they are, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of soul whispering. It ain't even me, it's just God using me as a vessel.
There you go. So I know that not everybody's going to be, or it's going to take time to drum up support, but have you been able to drum up support around what you're doing?
Yeah, it's slowly happening. See, it's not supposed to be for everybody. I'm not God who I think I am. It's supposed to be for who it's supposed to be for.
Yeah.
And I don't need everyone. I just need the right people.
You're right.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, Jesus had 12, maybe 11 because Judas traded on them, but still, and he changed the whole world. And I'm not comparing myself to him, but what I'm saying is when you have quality over quantity, it's going to work out anyway, because sometimes you can have a whole bunch of quantity and those where all the snakes be. Anybody could be with you doing the highlight reel. But how many people really want to be in the practice gym with you, making sure that you get it right so that way we all can be successful at the same time? Because the platform isn't about team. The platform is about creating change for everyone. Sorry. Phone was ringing.
Yeah, that's okay. It happens. And well, we already talk about that. Now, I want to go back to one thing that I found on your website. It says so the question is, many people who have dealt with inhumane conditions, so it's such as going through something that you went through with the officer, or they maybe went to war, or something happened that kind of knocked them psychologically. We know that these kind of situations, they create stumbling blocks for success. That you're not able to move forward if you're stuck in that cycle of thinking and feeling unworthy and all of that. So how would you advise someone, or how would you encourage someone in an effort to kind of get them to wake up out of their PTSD? Because almost everything is thinking, right? It's all about how we think about a situation, how we feel about a situation, and the kind of attractions that we're getting based on all of that. So how would you help someone to move away from that to a place where they can actually feel better and live better?
Okay. I have 3 formulas. 1, the biggest war you'll ever fight and your biggest enemy is your enemy. Your INNER will always be your biggest enemy, because if you can't win the war inside your mindset, you will always lose. If you don't know yourself or forgive yourself, you will lose, because you will be out of alignment with your mind, body, and soul. See, we can have emotions, but we just can't become emotional where our emotions are controlling us, because once we're out of alignment, then we're incomplete and we can't move forward the way we would if we were in alignment. 1. Number 2, here's a formula for you. Hearing plus listening, time, understanding to the second power of action will lead to a change in your life. When you hear somebody, are you really, really listening and paying attention to what they're saying to you? Do you really get the subtext? Or is your mind wandering, doing what you want to do because you don't want to really hear what they got to say? And when you're listening, are you really listening to understand what they're saying to you? And if you understand it, will you really go apply it? Because the biggest lie is knowledge is power. No, it's not. Knowledge is just knowledge, because you can know everything and do nothing.
Yeah.
The of knowledge. See, when you apply what you know, it will lead to a change in your life. And the last one, life. See, in life, there's going to be good and bad. That's what makes up life. Okay? And life was here before you. So that makes life the numerator. Life divided by you, because you are the common denominator of your own life. Everything in life happens to you from your perspective. So life divided by you equals, dramatic pause, emotional intelligence and how you perceive something. See, your perception. Life divided by you equals emotional intelligence, emotional discipline. Your perception is how you see yourself when you go through whatever you go through. It's how you feel about whatever you feel, because based off of your feelings, you will create your own heaven and your own hell.
Oh my God. Yeah.
To look at the situation. The situations are going to happen. You don't get on a roller coaster for it to go straight. See, life, you're going to go through the ups and downs, but based off of how you perceive your ups and downs will determine your happiness, will determine your peace. So life divided by you equals emotional intelligence. and your perception.
I think that was beautifully said. And again, everything that I agree with 100% just resonates with me. Things that I say over and over again. Guys, Mr. Martin is telling you exactly what you need to move from anywhere in your life and get to somewhere. This is not just a story. Yes, go ahead.
I would say Mr. Martin ain't telling y'all nothing. No credit. I would just say God is just using me as a vessel to be able to speak, and whatever resonates with your soul, that's why my brand is whispering to your soul. Whatever resonates with your soul resonates with you. And if it don't, it's okay, because I love you anyway. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm right about everything. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm super humble. And what I won't happen on any platform when I'm speaking is allow my ego to block the blessing. And to me, my mentor taught me is ego stands for edging God out. When did I start all of that and thinking I know all the answers? I don't. And the crazy thing about it is everything that I said is something that you already knew. I just put it in a way to remind you. And that's all we need sometimes is some reminders.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So my next question would have been, what is your daily self-talk? But I think we have already clarified that.
You said, what's my what?
No, my next question would have been, what is your daily self-talk to maintain your desired state of being? But then I think we would have already gone through that. I think you've already said it. But if you want to, you
got
to say it again.
I wake up in thankfulness because I ain't got to wake up. I wake up and I'm grateful for health because I ain't got to have good health. I wake up and you got to have affirmations. I wake up to saying I'm the best I'm the best speaker. I'm the best motivational, inspirational speaker that the world hasn't seen yet. I wake up and I speak affirmations. And another thing that you could do is you could set your alarm clock and send yourself positive messages throughout the day as a reminder for when you get tested that you're loved. You're amazing. If you could set an alarm to go to work for someone else's dream, you telling me you can't set an alarm just to love yourself? See, these little reminders that you don't expect to go off will brighten your day, will change a moment when you have an employee or a boss or your job or whatever is going wrong. These little reminders will help you throughout your day to tell you how important you are. And we all need reminders. Do I get upset? Do I fail? Do I struggle? Hell yeah, absolutely. But these little reminders let me know, hey, it's okay. Smile, you can go through it. Hey, at least you're still here to even have something to complain about. It's your perception. It's how you view it. It's what you go through. It's not, and it's the journey. That's what makes you stronger. So stop complaining about the preparation, because if you want to get to the next level, you got to be prepared for it. My question to you is, how heavy are your dreams? Because you can't outdream God.
No, and you can.
To hold up your dreams, why are you complaining when you have an opportunity to get in the weight room of your life to do something different? Questions, will you?
Yeah. What is your highest value and why?
What is my highest value?
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Loyal. Love.
Because it conquers all. Conquers all, like real love. I'm talking about like not 2022 love. I'm talking about old school love, where 5 guys would sing to one girl just so he can confess his love. I'm talking about when a guy get on the phone, hey baby, you sleep yet? Nah, you hang up first. Nah, you know what? I'm just gonna listen. That real, like, you know what? I'm mad at you, but I forgive you. I don't want to go upset. I don't want to go to bed mad at you because I love you. You feel me? I'm talking about like something that we forgot because we watered love down. We watered love down. Yeah, I love your shoes, love your shirt, love your hat, love. Stop tapping. We got to start being more authentic. We got to get back to being authentic.
I love that. That's nice. I like that. What is one thing that you want people who come in contact with you, people who see you, people who hear you, what's the one thing that they want to take away from being in your presence, whether that be virtually or physically?
Then I'm just like you. I ain't no better than you. I love you. And the same way you can say, oh my God, about me. Do you know how much oh my God is about you in the mirror waiting on you? Like, do you know how terrific and amazing you are? If you think I'm amazing, imagine how amazing you are. You should be more outstanding and surprised at how amazing you are. That's all we're doing is looking at how amazing we are in the mirror. You are amazing. You are brilliant. You are a walking miracle. Well, King, how can you say that? Because you still here, player. You still here. Through everything that you've been through everything that you've endured, you are still here. Which leads me to this quote. If you died today, would you get an A+ on life's report card? And only you know the answer to that question. But if not, and you're blessed to see tomorrow, you better live like it's extra credit. Because tomorrow's not promised. We are all 6 degrees of separation from loving each other, but we choose to be addicted to poison. But every day you wake up is an opportunity to change your future. Yes, sir. But it's a closer day to your grave. So what are you waiting for? You got to be great with every breath you take. You got to be great. 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 You got to be great with every breath you take, because it could be your last.
Yeah, I love that too. There's one more thing I wanted to ask you, which I should have asked you before, and I want you to share this with others. When I first heard you, you were telling the story of how you got your first job as in a movie, because you became a movie star. Could you make that short and share it with us, please? I want people to hear this because I think it's a phenomenal story.
So I went from wrongfully facing 10 years in jail to moving to California. I did an audition for Mr. Mosley. He loved it. He told me to move to California. I wound up writing a book, which you see, A War on Friendly Grounds. My friend who played Tupac from the Death Row Chronicle said, I'm going to NYFA. I said, what is a NYFA? I'm going to go be a screenwriter. I was like, dope. Me too. I'm going to be a screenwriter. I just wrote a book. So I get to NYFA, and I joined the screenwriting program, and they was like, oh, yeah, you got to write 30 pages a day. What? Oh, hell no, that ain't for me. I don't like writing like that. Not me. That is not for me. The devil is a lie. And so I heard about the directing program. And I wound up joining the directing program. And I found out that I was going to be in school 5 to 6 days out of the week, right? I'm an actor at the same time. God, how am I going to go to auditions? Now, mind you, I'm doing security work. And I'm in rooms with Morris Chestnut, Denzel, all these amazing celebrities. And I'm embarrassed. I'm like, God, why you got me in this room as a security guard? I don't want to be no security guard. I want them to see me as an actor. Well, if you act like a security guard, they're going to treat you. But if you act like who I called you to be, then that's who you will be. So I auditioned for Ballers. It was cool. Didn't hear nothing for like 4 or 5. I'm in school. I get a call from my manager and my agent, and they say, King, we need to talk to you at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock comes. Oh, they finna let me go, bro. I prepare myself. Hey, how you guys doing? I'm here. Nice meeting you guys. They said, have you heard the news? I said, no, but I appreciate working with you. Thank you for everything you guys done. They said, King, you book Ballers. Yeah. So I know I got to find another manager and agent. I'm thinking, King, are you listening? I said, what? They said, you book Ballers. I booked what? Let's go. I'm going to be on Ballers. Ah! Mama, I made it. I made it. Your boy made something of himself. So I go to set the next day. And when I get to set, guess where Ballers was? In the same place that I was doing security at when I was complaining to God. The same people who are security guards that I work with were the same people that walked me to my trailer. And then I had an opportunity to share my testimony with them because they looking at me, I'm looking at them, I'm like, yeah, dog. They're like, how you doing? Like, man, God, bro, I just kept doing it, right? And so then I got on the show Ballers, right? And I mean, shout out to Chris Lofton, shout out to London Brown, shout out to Donovan Carter, shout out to the director Rob Wise, shout out to the creator of Ballers, shout out to all of them. They're just amazing, right? So I binge watch Ballers. I'm binge watching it, so I know what I'm doing. I'm up to date with the stories. I'm like, oh, look at The Rock, look at John David Washington, look at all these celebrities. Woo! Yeah! I'm about to work with them, right? And when I got on set, they found out who I was. And so they took me to the creator of Ballers. And I damn near cried. Because I said, I appreciate season 4, episode 10, where you did an episode about Colin Kaepernick. And you told the truth about how People want us to shut up and dribble. You told the truth about police brutality. And that meant everything to somebody like me, because I never knew that someone in California was thinking about somebody like me. You got one of the best shows on HBO. Why would you even touch that subject? But for you to touch something like that about something that I lived through, bro, I can't thank you enough. And the tears just started falling down my face because I was so appreciative. And I told him I wrote a book. He said, "You did what?" I said, "I wrote a book." He said, "Oh my God, you got one?" I said, "Yeah, they in the trunk." He said, "Go get them." Y'all, I ran to the trunk and grabbed a box of books, ran back to set. Do you know the same people I was binge watching and praising was the same people I was doing, was asking me for my autograph? I did a book signing right there on set. So you can't tell me that one moment defines your life. You can't tell me if you're prepared for the opportunity that success can't come with it. And you can't tell me one dictionary that you'll find success before sacrifice, before failure, and before opportunity, because these are the ingredients of success. And it's not because I'm all of that. It's just because I kept believing. I had faith of a mustard seed. I kept going when everyone said I couldn't keep going. And that's why the world had to bend to the will that God had for me that I never knew. Because if you told me when I was on the ground facing 10 years, getting my behind, watching my wife get beat in front of me, being maced, that I would be here right now, I would have cussed you out and called you crazy. But man, look at God. Won't he do it?
Well, people, I don't think I can add anything to that, or I should. Thank you so much, King, for just taking the time out to be here. A lot of what you said, it felt like you were speaking to me directly. In all honesty, it touched me in a lot of ways that there are no words to explain. So if you're out there, maybe you're just getting a glimpse of this. Maybe, I don't know where you are, where your mind is, what dreams you have that you are not living up to, or you're not even taking the first step. I don't know if you are the person who is waiting on God to come and move you from point A to point B. If you are, it's not going to happen. You have to start taking steps first, and then he'll help you, right? And then he'll help you. But I promise you, you have a purpose. Every single one of us have a purpose. King is living up to his purpose, and I'm over here doing my best to do the same. And I'm imploring you to live up to your purpose as well. Okay? King, once more, I want to say thank you so much for being here with me today. It was an absolute pleasure. You were an inspiration, and thank you guys so much for being here with us, for supporting, for listening. Share this out with your friends. It will be on my YouTube channel next week. Follow me here, because every single Thursday I am here with another inspirational human being, just to share the message and to help you to live your best life, and to help you realize that you're not just here. You have a purpose. I also wrote a book too, King. It's called An Introduction to Freedom. Unfortunately, I left all of them in my car, so I don't have one to show here now, but there's a link in my bio here on Instagram. You guys can check it out. And it was written to help people deal with depression and anger, and just for you to get out of your own way, right? So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. And again, follow me here. We're here every Thursday. And you can check out King's book if you haven't read it at, let me let him tell you. What's the website? I think it's awaronfriendlygrounds.com, right?
Yeah. You can check out awaronfriendlygrounds.com, or you can just type in kingjaquell.com. That's my online business card. I appreciate the follows. I appreciate the love. I got more content coming out. And the last thing that I want to say is this: price. What you mean price? There's three things happen in life. You're born, you die. The question is, what do you do in the meantime? The price. Because when you don't fulfill your purpose, you're paying a price of not becoming who you're supposed to be. Ignorance has its price, because life is hard when you're ignorant and you just don't know. And that's not being disrespectful to anyone. But when you just don't know what you need to know, or if you just don't do what you need to do, then you're paying the price of not living the life that you're supposed to live. And then the other side of that equation of price is what are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you're supposed to be? Because you have to give up something to get to your dream. You have to be willing to sacrifice not hanging out. You got to be able to sacrifice certain type of things, mind, body, and soul. And a lot of times we're out of alignment. See, we get in the bath and we wash ourselves physically. Because if we don't wash ourselves physically, we're going to stink. We're going to get sores. So my question is, if that's true, when was the last time you washed your mind? When was the last time you washed your soul? When was the last time you meditated? When was the last time you spent some time with you so that way you can get back in alignment so you can go where you're supposed to go? Because if you look at a sequoia, it's the biggest tree in the world. When the wind blows, it doesn't fall over. You know why? Deeply rooted. So when you become deeply rooted in yourself and your creator, when the trolls, when the haters, when the people who don't believe, when they blow their wind, you'll be able to stand tall because you are who you are and you know who you are. So love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the follows. I appreciate y'all following me on this journey because right now I'm in the climax of my movie, A War on Friendly Grounds. And things like this will be in that part of the movie. And the pitch is Crash in Fruitville Station meets Pursuit of Happiness. So I can't wait to share that with y'all. I can't wait to release the short film where everyone else in the world can see it. I'm looking for distribution right now. And I can't wait to win this international Toastmasters competition. My speech is entitled, Am I in a Domestic Violent Relationship with America? Think about it. Shout out to Mr. Motivation. He's a GOAT. Shout out to all my friends that came up in the chat, that came through the support. Shout out to El Michelle, the voice of algorithm. She's going to be the voice of the world. Shout out to Glean. You know what I mean? Just shout out to everybody. I just want to make sure that I show love because I'm just a regular person. There's an old gospel song. I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. I'm just trying to show love. And that's why I feel like y'all are here listening. I feel like that's why it resonates because it's just truthful and it's just love. We got enough lies out here going on in the world. I'm so sick of being lied to. Why not share some truth and why not love on each other? Because that's an option just as well. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for this. Make sure y'all like, follow, and subscribe. Check out the book, A War on Friendly Grounds. Audio book coming soon. Short film be dropping. And I'll be working on the feature films just as well. So that's KingJaquell.com, or you can just follow me on Instagram. I appreciate y'all. I pray that I whispered to your soul and something resonated.
Well, if anything, you whispered to my soul. So you'd have gotten one person for sure.
Thank you. That's all I.
Welcome. Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here with us today. I don't think I need to add anything else to what King just said. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to say see you guys next week for another amazing show. We'll be talking about something different, but it's always about you living your best life. So have a wonderful evening, and thank you again, King, for being here with us.
Wow.
Bye, everyone.
Put me on some big platforms. I'm about to take over the world. We about to heal the world together, y'all, because love and unity is the antivirus to the system of oppression. Love you guys.
Bye.